Namaste. Hi, I am so excited to be here today with my dear friend and mentor, Mrs. Preeti Mathur. She always tells me, don't say Mrs. Mathur, don't say Mrs. Mathur, and it's very awkward for me to call her Preeti.
Yeah, because I'm now an elder, right?
Yes, so within the Indian community and the Indian American community, people who are older than us, we either refer to them as an auntie or Mr. and Mrs. But Preeti insists that I call her Preeti, and I hope my mother doesn't yell at me after she sees this video.
And may I say, my name is Preeti.
Preeti, yeah. Of course, Preeti, P-R-E-E-T-I,
and it means love. So it doesn't mean, I mean, a lot of people, call me pretty, petri dish, or that fat, I've been called all kinds of names. So.
Just like me, people tend to mispronounce my name too. Yeah. Since we're talking, I'm glad you corrected me, so tell us all who Preeti Mathur is.
Well, let's see. Preeti Mathur is, a long-term resident of Minnesota, from India, from a city called Hyderabad. The only daughter of my parents, so came from my father's house. I mean, I have a brother too, so there's just two of us. And to Minnesota with my husband, who went to the University of Minnesota. I also went to the University of Minnesota. And as I say in the book, my father, when I left India, gave me this advice that I'm a Kayast, a Mathur, who always adapts and assimilates, because through generations back in India, wherever we went, we assimilated. And that was his advice to me, that, go give back to the community, but also learn from them. Interact, don't form your own little cliques. And that is something I took to heart right from the very beginning, and was very involved in the Indian community, and also in showcasing the community through Festival of Nations or India Fest, children's schools. So then when I got this opportunity to write the book, I just said, oh my God, yes. But the idea for the book came from the India Association of Minnesota on the heels of, we did a couple things. There was the oral history projects that came, back, I think it was 93 or so. So completed about 9 projects, and on different people and different organizations. And then the Smithsonian had a travel exhibit called Beyond Bollywood. Mm-hmm. And there were certain people in the community like Ram Gada and others who decided like we should bring it to the History Center and localize it for Minnesotans. And my husband and I were on the advisory committee and worked a lot on bringing Minnesota elements into it, and Minnesota people adding to that exhibit. And during that time, the curators got to know me and asked me to write a short 3,000-word article for Minipedia, their website. And so that's how I got known to them.
That's how the studio.
Yeah. And then when there was funding available for the book from Dr. Dash, and IM came up with a proposal, Minnesota History Center asked me if I would be interested, and I said, of course. And then I thought it would be a piece of cake, right? I mean, I'll just expand on what I had written. But it turned out to be quite an involved project. It took me almost a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 9 months of solid working on it.
Solid research and all. And
yeah.
So the book we're all talking about is Mrs. Mathur's Preeti's book, From 7 Rivers to 10,000 Lakes. It's about the people of India in Minnesota. It's about our lives. So, and everyone's included.
Yeah, basically
Indian Americans, visa holders, green card holders, because you all felt that we had a story.
I tried to make it as inclusive as I could, because
and generations.
Generations. So I kind of divided it up in 3 phases. those who came, revolving around the 1965 Immigration Act. So before that, not too many people came, so I focused a little bit more and I gave a few more profiles. And then after 65, like my husband and all came as students. And then
I did not realize that there was an act.
yeah, oh yes, and I give a brief summary of what were the different acts that affected our coming here. And unlike other states, most of us came here for education, which has changed now with the Y2K and the year 2000.
Yep.
We've got a lot of programmers, people from the IT, and that has completely changed the landscape
Yep.
of Minnesota.
Yep.
So I trace all of that, but I also talk about not just people from India as such, but also people who are the Indian diaspora, people who went to the Caribbean, South America, Africa, and also the children who were adopted from India,
Oh.
and also
So glad you did that.
people who went to India as children of missionaries. They were born there and then came here when they were back, you know.
Okay.
So I tried to be as inclusive as I could of, you know, tackling different people and, you know, and their contribution to Minnesota.
You must have so many stories. Was there one that really stood out that really said, oof? I'm guessing.
No,
That's like asking which is your favorite baby.
I know. But one thing I do remember, one story where I stumbled, and I did, as I said, a lot of research, and I was doing some, going through this newspaper called Asian American Press, and I stumbled upon the story about Mohan Sikon, a gentleman who came here in 1938. And I had no idea, absolutely no idea that somebody had come that early.
That? Oh wow,
Yeah,
1938.
yeah.
That's even before India's independence.
Absolutely. And then I called the reporter, and he told me that his daughter still lives here, and she's a doctor. And so then I called the clinic, and I found out that the doctor had retired. And it took me like several attempts before I found them. I mean, I was connected to her nurse, and I said, please, this is nothing to do with being a patient or anything. I just want, this is a personal favor. It's about her father. And the nurse conveyed the message to Dr. Sikon, Sylvia Sikon, and she called me right away that day. And we met a few days later. They were going on a holiday, and talked for almost 3 hours. She came with 2 bags full of pictures, and
This is the doctor. This is the daughter.
Yeah, Mohan Sikon's daughter.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So her father had passed. But, and
he had passed on in 70s, but she still lives here, and it's just been wonderful getting that story, and I've covered.
I've got goosebumps to have someone from India in
so
1930.
that one just, you know, of course, it was like, oh my God, investigative journalism.
and that what is the book is going to be released on Wednesday, right? Do you want to tell everyone?
Sure. So it's had a couple of soft launches. We did a little bit at the Minnesota History Center on September 29th, and then over the weekend at the Hindu Mandir Diwali. But this is sort of a formal launch,
This is the
official one at a bookstore called Next Chapter, which is on Snelling Avenue. And I'll be doing a little bit of, I'll be doing what I did just now, a little talking, and probably read a few things. And I've got little goodie bags to give away, and and just generally meet people. And the idea behind this that I really want to bring across is that here's something now that explains and showcases our community. Let us communicate, because communication is the beginning of understanding. When you communicate, then you just understand where you come from, and especially during today's time where we have such divisive politics and everything, me, them, you, I hope that this goes a long way, and hopefully it'll be a good resource for libraries and for you to give to your clients or to show to your clients who we are.
I was also thinking this is a great book that I would love to even donate to my children's school.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
I'm absolutely moved that you took the time out. 1 year is a lot of time to go research and put together, but this is an excellent resource for all us Indian American parents to read to our kids, to share with our kids, because one of the things my kids constantly are struggling with, am I Indian, am I American, am I blah blah blah, etc., and it's very expensive to take them down to India. So I try to take them to as many Indian
gatherings,
events, festivities, and this is magnificent. This is a
and I just hope that
book.
when you read it also,
With the pictures
it's a springboard for future conversations.
Absolutely.
So something where you can discuss with your own kids and record your own stories. I mean, I'm sure you have lots of stories to say about, and you all have you have your unique experiences coming from Goa. Could be slightly different.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And being Catholic or Goan Catholic out here, but raised in Mumbai, so it's completely.
Absolutely. So there are lots of opportunities to, as I said, a springboard for future stories.
Absolutely. What I also love about this book is it's my concern of late has been that, as you mentioned, politics is very divisive. Indians also are very embarrassed about talking about racism. I've only now started talking about it more recently, because it's not very overt. It's very covert of sorts, and I try to be very protective of my kids, because of course they are biracial, but they're also bicultural, something that people don't like to talk about. And I'm just grateful to you for putting this book together, because the thing that concerns me a lot of late is that I've been noticing there's been a lot of tokenization of us Indians and our culture, from yoga to our food to the gods, etc., etc. It's getting to the point that's getting really offensive at times. This is going to be fantastic. This will show. This will tell people that there's more to us than just being tokenized. And
I know there's a little bit of appropriation of our culture, and I wanted to also bring that yoga, Ayurveda, healing, all of this. It has its very ancient roots.
Exactly.
Sometimes our credit is given to us, but sometimes it's not. It's
99% it's not, and it's very commercialized. And I'm so glad that I know that this book will tell people that there's more to us.
Yeah, well, the thing that I also want to make a note of is that it's not an encyclopedia on India.
Exactly.
It's a starting point, an overview. We've not had anything like this before. And it's not a who's who of all the Indians in Minnesota. I've just used a few names here and there to showcase and vet,
I think that's great. I think that's really
so
great.
it shouldn't be perceived as that.
The people behind the culture here in Minnesota, that's what I love, and their stories.
Yes, absolutely. And we needed to do something like that to kind of stake our claim to, I mean, for me, like living here 41 years.
They've contributed to Minnesota's landscape.
Absolutely. And there's so many others with so much. And again, as you turn on to this page, we are just very mainstream too. We celebrate our Halloweens and our Christmas.
The cute pictures of Christmas and Halloween. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I'm just so excited. I feel like a celebrity now.
Yeah, you are. You are our very own celebrity here in Minnesota. Thank you so much. Please, if you guys can make it, please come to the launch, the formal launch, which is this Wednesday.
At Next Chapter Bookstore on Snelling Avenue, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.